Golf's no different from hockey. Requires talent, self-discipline.
Golf requires goofy pants and a fat ass. You should talk to my neighbor, the accountant, probably a great golfer, huge ass.
How do you measure yourself with other golfers? By height.
It's a very, very special honor.
I'm Paula Creamer, and you're listening.
Well, we're waiting.
Hi, this is Martin Cove, a.k.a. John Kreese from Cobra Kai, and you're listening to
Quiet, Please.
Let the word go out from here across the land. Let Daddy Noonan approve.
Hi, boys. Nice day for golf, eh? Quiet, please. Oh, you got secrets, eh?
Hey, this is Shooter McGavin. You're listening to the...
Hey, you guys. Hey, we're trying to have a podcast over here.
Welcome once again, everyone, to Quiet Please, the Golf Podcast. I am Alan Depew, and as always, I am joined by our panel of, misfits / industry experts. We talk everything from the latest happenings in the game and the men and women that's shaping it. We've got a few things on topic. Maybe things been happening in the golf business, and I don't know, say the last 7 days, 10 days, today.
Half an hour.
What's that?
Yeah, last half an hour.
Last half an hour. Yeah, no doubt. As always, wherever you're chiming in, we appreciate you watching us. Do not forget that you can chime in on all our social media platforms. We love to have good interaction with the audience. Keep it clean. That's our only rule. We'll try to get it online. And as always, from my left, hailing from the Bourbon Country, Boston Bob Baldessari. Bobby?
It's great to have a full house, and I want to make a quick shout out to Oak and Moore, Lane Moore. Next time you guys visit us at the Crow's Nest, we now have the official bourbon bar in place, thanks to Lane Moore and Oak and Moore here in Versailles. Stunning work. I might have to leave early for a toast.
I just want recognition for dubbing it the Crow's Nest.
Yep.
He is the golfing savant. That's it. That's all he is. Andy Idorn.
This is a packed show tonight. Couldn't wait to get on.
It was so packed we had to move it to another day. We had too much stuff to carry into Tuesday. And he's back from the Augusta National Golf Club. My apologies. I don't want to get banned like anybody, Sergio Garcia. Brendan Elliott.
And I had to get talked to at Augusta as well. I'll tell you more.
Oh boy.
Oh, don't be that guy.
Don't be that guy.
And as always, he's dropping our age demographic, and that's because he's the prettiest podcaster in golf, Christian Nazanis.
I heard toast, so it means I got to go to Kentucky again. I'll be on the first flight there.
I'll tell you what, life in the Crow's Nest is good out there. Not going to lie.
Living tastes better in Kentucky, I will say.
Yeah.
I can confirm.
So, BE, we're going to allow you to take this and run with it. You're decked out in the Augusta garb. Some great picks. We cannot confirm if you had meta glasses on at any time. So, please share with us your take on the National this year.
Every year I go, I tell myself, you've been here multiple times. You're grateful for that. It's going to be the same thing you saw last year. It's never, Bobby knows, it's never the same thing you see the previous year. The first thing that really caught my attention was the player services building right behind the range. Obviously, I didn't get to see it other than online pictures, but you could see the outskirts of it, and I cannot understand. I understand money can do a lot of things, but what they managed to do as soon as the last putt drops one year and the first tee shots are hit for the Anwa, it's amazing. The tunnels underneath the ground, there's a parking lot under the practice range for the players now because the player services building took their parking lot. So I think Kisner was talking about it on one of the podcasts, and you literally drive underneath the driving range and take an elevator up to the player services building. Insanity. But the course itself, beautiful as always. I think Andy kept saying it over the weekend, it got a little crusty, which is fine. I mean, probably the most beautiful week of the 15 times I've been up there in terms of weather. But it was exciting, definitely exciting. And you can't bring 2 chairs in. I had a chair taken from me because I didn't know you couldn't bring 2 chairs in. So,
Ooh.
1 chair per patron.
Yes.
Brendan is that. Don't be that patron.
Don't be that patron. Yep.
Did you run?
No. Did I run? Come on, Larry. I could barely walk up some of the hills.
How are we hearing how crusty? And by the way, it did look crusty. There was some little purple tinge, little purple rain. But you're hearing mud balls out in the fairway with the overseed. Or is that excuses, Andy Hydorn?
No, I thought, like, when I was making my comments in the text chat about the brown spot, like, there were a lot of brown spots, like, in the rough and in the fairway. I've never in my life seen that. Like, we've all been accustomed to seeing this AI version of a golf course. And there were definitely some brown spots on the perimeter of some of those holes, which, again, maybe I was never looking that close, but it definitely was visible this time around.
But it was later in the week, right?
Yeah, maybe. Like on number 3, for example, around the green on number 3, there were definitely some bare
on the right-hand side.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
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 Yep.
Yeah, depending on the camera angle, it was definitely noticeable. That sheen, that shine, that brownish look. I mean, some of them, 13, I remember thinking, wow. It was a different look, I think, I mean, even if you look back in the 1970s and even the like 75-ish, I mean, some of the areas of Augusta, some of the bunkering, some of the shots, when you look back now, you go, huh, that's Augusta? Like there was a quick, somewhere in the 80s, it really transformed and really started to get magical. And then it was that everybody in the country wanted to look like Augusta, and it's unrealistic.
Christian, how about the over the bunker on 15 on the right-hand side? That was a little toasty.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. Yeah, big time. I thought the course looked great, to be honest with you, outside of a few of the spots. But I think the greens looked awesome. I mean, it looked green. It looked fast. It looked firm. It kind of like that's the kind of golf course I like watching these guys play. I've been out here before saying U.S. Opens are my favorite golf to watch. So I think that was a great – I mean, it's always set up fantastic, and it always challenges the guys. And it always seems like each year 12, 13 under par is going to win. There's obviously a lot more that we're going to dive into regarding the golf part of it, but I thought the course looked – I give it a nice 8 out of 10.
Okay, so on the golf side of it, Andy Hydorn, was it borderline unfair in any way? Because did see a few shots that maybe were just hit a yard or two out of position and 50 yards over the green down on 15.
That's Augusta, though.
Yeah,
that's Augusta. I feel like it's so unique. Christian said this is the type of golf course you like to see them play on. I think this is such a unique golf course, right? In a lot of ways, the conditions, the design, the way you play it, the way the holes are. Somebody I think it was Phil, who I tend to not agree with very often, but he made a comment that he thought that it was starting to have a negative effect on the way the guys are playing the 13th and 15th hole by lengthening them too much. His point was it's a better tournament when everybody's going for it and there's things happening. If you get it too stretched out and nobody's really going for those holes, it kind of takes away what those holes are, even though the pitch shots into both of those greens are diabolical.
But Bobby, I mean, when Norman played back when his epic collapse, foreshadow to our live report, he hit like 5-iron into 13, if I recall, or something like that. Oh, yeah. And that was down, and he hit it down the left side. Is it not just simply bringing back and isn't that what Chairman Ridley was talking about? Rolling back the ball to bring back the integrity of the golf course. I didn't have a problem watching somebody hit a 7-wood in.
Yeah, it's the Bobby Jones comment that he wanted par 4.5, so that you had this realistic chance to make a birdie, but you make a comfortable par. But you give that, to Andy's point, risk to reward. So 13, I do agree. 13, you want to have it right in that sweet spot that every player can get into that, hit their tee shot, and that stuff in the back of your head is, should I go for it? And 15, the same thing. I mean, granted, there's been some players that have played really well. They're laying up and, making birdie with wedges. Trying to think, who why am I blanking on his name?
Zach Johnson?
Zach won. Yeah. He didn't go for any of the par fives. He laid up all over the place and made a bunch of birdies. I mean, that's an outlier. But to Jeremy Ridley's point, it was not only hitting it far, but also the creativity, the curving of the ball. I know the ball goes straighter now and the clubs make it go straighter, but there's that component in there about learning how to hit the ball, flight it low, flight it left to right, flight it right to left. Like all those shots you want in the bag that has been lost. You ask, Brendan teaches youth golf all the time. I'm still teaching. You ask golfers and kids to hit a knockdown shot. They don't have a clue what that is.
Okay, so let's ask the kid. Do you know how to hit a knockdown shot, Christian?
Of course, you've been behind me when I've hit a knockdown shot.
All right, moving on. Brendan?
Well, before you move on, one other point on that. I think it's become so, I don't know that it's a fad, but such a preferred ball flight is a fade with the driver now. And when you're standing up on the 13th tee box, a fade doesn't work there. So that's got a little bit to do with how the 13th hole is playing anyway.
Yeah, but these guys are all good enough, especially on Sunday with that pin. You can easily hit 3-wood, rip it around the corner because it's easier to draw a 3-wood than a driver. And these guys hit it far enough where half of them are hitting 3-wood 300 yards, and they can lay up with over on the right side because you can hit between myself and Mississippi over there and then hit a nice little pitch shot coming in. I mean, Rory bombed one on Sunday. He had 350-yard drive off the tee. He had an 8-iron in from 180. Like, that's the advantage if you can draw it. But I get what you're saying, obviously. And it's the Masters is a course that you don't really get tired, in my opinion, of watching it. I know it's the same event every single year, but it always plays differently.
And AD, real quick, AD, you had mentioned like the difficulty of certain things. For every, 4th and 5th hole, there's some pins on Sundays that the ball wants to come back and go into the hole, like on 7 and 16. So 14, I think it's a good balance. I mean, it really balances out, I feel like.
Agreed.
So we saw the good, we saw the bad. We'll get to Rory in a second. Let's talk about the carnage. I want to talk about the carnage because he played a game that I am familiar with, unlike Bobby Jones and Jack Nicklaus. Ho-Tung Lee.
Oh my God.
And by the way, the media is getting ripped over not seeing that. There's a good topic. The media is getting ripped over not showing key golf shots. I mean, we would have liked to have seen the carnage. I'm not going to lie. And more importantly, I think we would have liked to have saw the carnage and how it impacted Scotty. That's standing there for a half an hour.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
Well, you're talking broadcast coverage. There was plenty of ways to watch that. You could watch that group and you could have seen that. And I think that's the struggle that Augusta had. And we saw it this year because I do come home for the final rounds to see it on TV. And there was some questionable broadcasting for sure. But Augusta offers multiple ways to watch. You can follow the groups you want to follow. You can follow every shot that's being played, during the course of the day. So I think broadcast, there was a lot of issues, but there's other ways to take it all in.
You can go on the Masters app right now and see Scotty Scheffler's third shot on Friday on number 8.
Yep.
I think that's amazing how
Well, they do the featured group. They watch holes 4, 5, and 6. Watch Amen's corner. I mean, we've gotten to the point with technology and the number of cameras they have out there. Why not just have them all online?
They could have, online a little like car crash cam or car crash bubble. And so everybody that's making $1 million, like you're watching it in life.
People like to see that too.
Yeah.
So I had picked Akshay in my pool.
Me too.
Akshay, literally coming down the stretch, lost 8 shots to par on like the last 6 holes.
Oh wait, that was premature. Don't be that guy.
Like I'm watching him on the Masters app, hitting every shot. Like 13, hits his second shot through the green, just into that swale behind. Ends up making 7, right? Because he chips it down too hard, goes in the water, has to drop, hits it. I mean, it just there's so much that can go wrong there. I mean, it's amazing, and I think it's good TV to watch that stuff.
Yeah.
Speaking of big numbers.
Ooh.
Bob, do you have
wrong.
anything to say about big numbers?
Speaking of wicked bad big numbers at the Augusta National Golf Club.
Oh, do tell.
Oh, yeah, by the way. So here's a good trivia. There were 3 holes on the course that have all had the most strokes taken on them all time. So, for instance, hole number 1, the highest score ever on hole number 1 is 9. That's not in the case. Hole number 2, it's 10. But there were 3 holes on the course that 3 different tour players have made it 13 strokes on the hole. Do you know which holes, and do you happen to know which player?
12 is one of them.
Yep.
13 another.
12 and 13.
And one more hole.
11.
Nope.
15?
15. So 12, 13, and 15 are the 3 holes where 13 has been made. So it's the highest gross score.
I know who did it on 12, but I can't think of it. Like when you say it, I'm going to be like,
yeah.
Who was it?
Same thing. Like I knew it, and when I read it, I was like, "That's right, Weiskopf."
Yeah.
Well, what did Tiger make there?
He made like a 9, didn't he?
Yeah,
no, he was in double digits. I thought he was.
Oh, it was 10. It was 10.
Maybe
I remember
10.
seeing the card now.
Yeah, and then on hole 13, kind of a random name, Tommy Nakajima made it 13.
Okay, I got 15.
And then our
Rory McIlroy.
Nope. It's a recent name. It's our buddy from LIV who lost his driver and lost his mind and got a reprimand.
Ah, the Surge.
Sergio.
The Surge.
Speaking of LIV, Andy.
Well, hey, why don't we just roll right into that then? Because there's a lot to talk about their actions down there this week.
Wow.
And some actions maybe since down there.
So here's my take on what's going on. And for those of you listening that haven't heard, there's been corroboration that the Public Investment Fund has informed LIV that they are not going to continue funding LIV Golf like they've funded it up until now. So there's a lot of speculation on what that means. Does that mean they're turning the spigot all the way off? Are they going to turn it part way off? What's going to happen? Is this week going to be the last LIV event that we'll see? Is there a timetable for all? Who knows?
But it ain't so, Joe.
But it certainly seems like there's a lot of corroboration to the story and to the rumors. And I think tomorrow, Brendan, you can confirm this. Tomorrow's a big day, right? Isn't there a meeting tomorrow?
Yeah.
Between PIF and LIV? Or is
and they had said, the report said that they typically have a meeting before they start play. But this is going to be more than just that typical meeting for sure.
Yeah. And I'm just going to throw out my 2 cents on what I think is prompting this. I feel like the performance of the LIV players at the Masters was very disappointing to the LIV Golf League. I think that John Rahm in particular seemed to have nothing really going on. He was quoted as saying he needs to start doing things differently preparation-wise. And that to me says, potentially quite a bit about where his head is at. And I get the feeling that if the Public Investment Fund is talking to John Rahm about his future at LIV, and John Rahm is talking about how it's not really working for him, that could be the linchpin of this whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, legitimately, Hatton was the only one that put up a fight.
Right.
And I figured he was gone after the first day, but hung in there.
Yeah, great run.
And Bryson and Rahm
on a golf course he hates.
Oh, he hates every golf course.
Yeah.
Not as much as another LIV guy, but Bryson and Rahm were coming in with decent form. That's when, in our text thread earlier, that's why I almost thought maybe these guys saw the writing on the wall, or there was some whispers, because like Bryson just seemed out of it the whole week.
Bryson was in it, in my opinion, BE. He got to 11. He's pull hooked it into 11 on the pond 2 years in a row now. He blocks it dead right, slight downhill lie on the bunker, facing that same pond. Buries it, gouges it out, makes triple. Done.
Well, he came to the 18th hole needing par to make the cut, and he made double.
Mm-hmm.
And I am not a fan of Bryson. I think he's a bit of a horse's ass, with all the equipment stuff and
I'm talking about Christian's boy,
all that stuff that he does. But I will say this: Bryson needed par to make the cut, made double, walked to the scoring tent, and was high-fiving all the kids.
Yep.
So to me, I'm giving the guy a ton of credit for doing that.
When he was in that bunker on 11, I couldn't help but think, if Nicholas or somebody's in there, or maybe one of us is the caddy, or maybe me's the caddy, and that shot is so hard that is that one time where you actually go left and just, get it on the green surface, 2 putts, let's get going. Your spirits are still up. You're still kind of in it. But, I mean, that's a tough shot. I don't know. I'm watching it play out. I was watching it at the time, and I was thinking, I wonder if, a little bit Monday morning quarterback, but, that's
I know Rays Creek's there also there, but I mean, he could have gone right technically and onto the short grass, second cut, excuse me.
That stretch, that amen corner stretch, just plays with these guys' head every year.
Andy, I remember the Mass Open qualifying when I was a kid or younger at Thompson Country Club on the 11th hole, par 3.
Mm-hmm.
These things scar you. And I'm watching that happen going, you know what? My dad said, making a bogey is not so bad in a certain situation, and let's just get to the next hole.
Yeah, you're like, I get it.
So, Christian, we are 23 minutes in, and aside from this momentary break here where Mr. Hydorn is going to tell us something special.
Well, let's just acknowledge the fact that we are connected to, in such a great way, to Holderness and Bourne, the finest luxury apparel company in the game. We love their stuff. We love the people there. And Holderness and Bourne is those are our guys here at Quiet Please.
1000%. Much thanks. Appreciate their ongoing support. We're going to leave that up on the board there as a tickler right across the bottom. Everybody look them up, check them out, give them a try. That's all we're going to ask. Christian, 25 minutes now, almost into our show, and we haven't talked about Rory McIlroy. Would you like to discuss the winner?
I don't know where to start with Rory, to be honest with you, because I got some pretty bold takes that I think you guys are not going to about it. Rory played well the first 2 days, in my opinion, and he did not play well over the weekend. I felt one of my bold predictions, or one of my bold things that I was thinking of over the weekend, is that Scotty, in my opinion, should have won that, in the fact that he played the par fives like shit that week. He played them awful, right? He bogeyed 3 of them, I believe, 8, 13, and 15, which is uncommon like for him. And I think that if he makes that putt on 17, I think he wins the tournament, in my opinion. I think they go to a playoff, and I think he beats Rory. That's just me. I don't think Rory had his C game that happened to work. I thought he missed a lot of short putts early. Look at the one that he missed on 4 over the weekend. Look at the pull hooks that he started fighting. He found something on the range, he said, Saturday. I'm not discrediting the win. He deserved it. Obviously, congratulations to him. I think he's probably playing some of the best golf that in the last really decade, honestly, that he would even admit. I just don't think that he played as well as as well as people are saying on the internet, in my opinion.
He beat Scotty by 12 shots in the first 36 holes.
Right.
12 shots.
I agree.
So you can talk all you want about how it ended up.
I agree.
But, I know. Part of tournament golf is about what's your position, what are your feelings?
100% correct.
Are you
Absolutely.
free to fire,
I don't disagree. I agree 100%. And I think if Scotty played better on the second day, in my opinion, I think that would have transitioned his difference and going into the weekend. That's just me. Right.
Yeah, it changes everything, though. It changes
I know.
how
Absolutely.
everybody approaches their rounds. And look, for me, Rory definitely did not drive it great the first day, especially.
Yeah.
Second day was a little better, and by the end, I think he was driving it much better. But his short game was off the charts good. Like some of the pitches he was hitting, I think he putted great. Like Rory really gave all he could give on the short shots to make up for any mistakes he made in the long game. And to me, that's what won him the tournament. He won it. He won by 1, but he won it going away.
Before I forget, that shot he holed on 17.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard a few people say, "What a great chip shot." That was not a chip shot.
No,
that was a pitch shot. He was not like right off the green. Like there was a difference. And I get on my soapbox, but this was another time that that was a phenomenal shot, pitch shot, bigger swing, more airtime, phenomenal shot.
It's a brutal green too. That back left pin on 17 is brutal.
Yeah.
For him to judge that the right way was amazing.
Some of the best shots of all time, you don't know it when it's happening, but sometimes you do. And I think that one was like the Tiger chip on 16.
Yeah.
That's one they're going to play over and over and over again.
But like if you
Rory had that Tiger shot also.
Yeah.
But he chose to putt it, but that was pretty damn close to where.
And how good was his putt?
That was amazing.
But see, for me, the microcosm of Rory's week, he had a great drive on 17. Hits a bad iron shot, a bad 9-iron, misses the green. And he's got, from below the green, not a long little chip, but from below the green, he hits it up to 1.5 feet. Like there's no stress in that, and it's just such a great calming play that he made there. And he just made a bunch of those this week.
You mentioned Scotty, Christian, and I feel like the thing that fascinates me this year about Scotty is we keep saying that he's not the Scotty of last year, or some people say that, but statistically he's not really that far off from where he was last year, but he's always there. no matter what he has going in the first or second round, he's always there. And Rory has kind of found that where he's just always in the mix. And that's why he won it this year, because of what happened last year, because he's totally got that attitude. Like, this doesn't have to happen. I've already had it happen. And by thinking that way, he freed himself up. You could see that all week. Even when things were going sideways, you could see that he was just different.
Yeah. I mean, there's a reason they're the top 2 golfers in the world. And I don't even think, I mean, I was really rooting for Cam. I really wanted him to win. I think he's knocking on the door. I would not, I've said it so many times. His putting was solid, especially on the front 9. He was making everything he looked at. Par saves, a par save on 5. It was awesome. I thought he really, after hole 5, I was on the phone with my mother, and I remember, because I was traveling back from Syracuse, and when I landed back here in Charlotte, I called her and I said, I think it's going to come down to him and Rosie. That was just me. That's what I thought, because it goes back to what I said. Rory didn't have his A game, I thought, on Sunday, at least in the first 9, right? But it was a great tournament. You couldn't have asked for a better leaderboard, honestly. That's what we hope for in majors, coming down to it. I mean, that was just an A+ leaderboard, honestly.
I wanted Rosie.
Cam will be a major champ. There's no question.
But I also think Rosie, too, is going to happen this year. I mean, Rosie's playing the best golf, I'd even say, of his career, to be honest with you right now. And what he's able to do at his age and keeping up with guys like Cam Young, or like the ball speed that he's generating. Same goes for Rory. It's incredible how far that they're hitting the ball and how good they look at their age. And it's honestly awesome to see, personally.
Well, you don't have to look much further than like a Padraig Harrington on the Champions Tour. Age doesn't mean shit anymore for a lot of these
100%. I'd still take Justin Rhodes' swing over anybody else's in the game right now. From the time he takes the club back to the time he follows through, I would take his ball striking, I would take his swing, and I would take Cam Young's putting. That's how I would build my golfer right now if I was doing it.
And how about Sam Burns? I mean, he did shock me a little bit on Sunday, because he is statistically the best putter on tour. So that was a little bit of a surprise at the slide, but he played so good up until, midway through the last day.
I'd sent that one text in the group that at one point the number 91 ranked driver of the ball was 91st in the field.
Yeah.
And the number 90th ranked was actually number 1 on the leaderboard. Yeah. I'd love to see that final stat. I haven't seen it any place since, because, man, he hit it all over the map. He really, that ball on 18, and that's where I go back to my complaint about the media, because where was the shot? Where was the camera? Be behind him. Nobody could find the ball coming out of the woods. Didn't know it was in the bunker.
Was it just me that I did lose power with 4 holes to go, by the way, which was
very
awesome.
Very unfortunate for you.
Very unfortunate. But was it me that just missed Scotty on 18? Did they show Scott? Did they show him hit his pitch shot up there?
I don't remember seeing it.
Yeah, I remember them coming on and say, Scotty.
Wait a minute. Yes, they did. Yes, they did. I do remember it.
So they didn't show.
Because they were talking about how he and Teddy have a betting contest on the number of chip ins.
Okay.
And then they said, "Oh, he gave it a really good shot," but of course he was like a foot and a half to the right.
Okay.
But I think it goes back to with like showing, obviously with Scotty coming down, show Lee putting out, show him finishing, right? Because you know damn well if that was Tiger Woods in that situation and he's 8 over par, they would have shown Tiger every single shot.
Yeah, they didn't show Scotty finished.
Exactly. So I think that's part of the problem too, is that not problem, but like it's annoying that Lee's not a top caliber player in the world. He's a likable guy. People know his name when they hear it. But that was an issue that I also had on Sunday, was like, show the guys finishing out. You do it with every other guy. Show guys finishing out.
But I don't remember this being an issue in the past. Do you? Do any of you guys
remember like even it goes back to what I just said, like with Tiger. Like obviously he's changed the game of golf, but Tiger's 18 over par, for example, and they're showing every shot. I don't want to see Tiger Woods
because he pays the bills, man.
Because
understand that, but
what is this since 2017?
It's not even just the Masters, though. It's just tournaments in general. I think that
17 or 15. This is the first time we had a leaderboard this packed.
Yeah.
So you have. I mean, I wouldn't try to throw them a bone and say, how do you cover everybody?
Well, I did hear Kevin Kisner say, who was doing some on-course reporting for Sirius maybe, or somebody. He was texting Colton Oast saying, this is ridiculous. Every shot they're showing on the broadcast happened 6 minutes ago.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, they stopped showing Shane Lowry too. Granted, he didn't play well, but
and there was a between the online stuff and the TV broadcasts, there was such a gap because I had my computer up. I always do that because I'm looking for stuff and writing notes and stuff. And I'm seeing what's happening on my computer before I'm seeing it happening on TV. That's annoying. That's really annoying.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, look, to do the perfect broadcast is impossible, right?
Right.
But to really show every shot after it happened, I mean, that's not really the kind of the nature of the way it's supposed to play out.
Right.
Yep.
And I will take Kisner and Colton Oast's word for it that that's pretty much what was going on.
All right. Where are we at here? Boom.
Okay. So my don't be that.
There is a long line of contenders this week.
Yes. Well, there's one obvious one and then one not so obvious one. So the obvious one is our friend El Nino, who just continues to act like such an ass on the main stage. It's just getting ridiculous to watch what an angry little man Sergio is. And it's embarrassing to him. It's embarrassing to the game. And I think everybody knows what I'm talking about. The second don't be that guy is going to go to our friend Scotty. Scotty sat there in front of the microphone. Somebody asked him a question, if his round could have been any better. And he basically belittled the guy Bill Belichick style and told him it was a stupid question. He's not answering it. And then literally, whether it was 5, 10, 20 minutes later, he's talking to another reporter and says that he left a couple out there. That's exactly the question that the guy asked him.
And that was Jason Sobel, who's a very good reporter that asked that
Jason
question.
Sobel's the one that asked him?
Yep.
See, I think that's lame, Scotty. That's a don't be that guy moment for you. That, I don't think that's anything to be proud of.
Well, what about Bobby Mack? He's another don't be that guy.
He is. He's the three-headed monster instead of the two-headed monster. He's definitely there too. Yeah.
Oh, so many.
Oh, how about Mark Calcavecchia? We got more.
Oh, yeah.
How about Kaya Trump? She took a picture with her phone and posted it. I mean, no phones at Augusta.
Did she take a picture with her phone, or did somebody take a picture for her?
I think there is going to be cell phones at Bushwood.
And then the aforementioned dude that got booted because he had the meta glasses on.
Yes.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
They cuffed that guy.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't hear that one.
Right there in front, right under the big tree.
Wow. Did not hear that.
Is not having meta glasses in the fine print?
It's about to be it for next year.
That one caught me by surprise a little bit, to be honest with you.
They cuffed him?
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
They cuffed the guy that took the sand when Bubba's play.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
They see everything. Everything.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Hey, Alan, can I make a quick comment here? I mentioned he was my sentimental choice, Justin Rose, last week. I was going with Cam Young, but I quickly, really, halfway through that second round, I thought, you know what? I really want Cam Young to win. I think he's going to win. And when a young, talented player is right there in the beginning, you start to think, yep. But then a young, talented player, Justin Rose, years ago, was getting there and getting close. 3 times he's been runner-up, once in the playoff. Like, he was so close. He had 2-shot lead heading into the back 9. So he didn't play well. But if you look ahead to the next the next major is at Aronimink in the Philadelphia area. He won the 2013 U.S. Open at Marion.
Yep.
In 2018, he beat Keegan Bradley beat Justin Rose in a playoff for the BMW Championship. So I think the mojo is pretty good for Justin there. He's played well at Aronimink. You know, it's not like 3 months away. Take a little break. So, you know, maybe you might see Justin. He's only got 1 major. I thought he had 2, but I looked it up. The U.S. Open's his only major. I think he's a Hall of Fame type of player with the Ryder Cup and everything. But I think 1 more major and he's a World Golf Hall of Famer.
So I don't know if there's any writers amongst us that may want to come up and, you know, cover the event and need like some understudy to carry along an extra pencil or 2 to go around Aronimink, but could certainly show them a few restaurants we could attend afterwards. Just saying.
I'm kicking around the idea of coming up.
Andy, come back home towards Saucon.
Oh.
Yeah.
Maybe
Christian, come down, have cheesesteak. Bobby, not far from you. We could all congregate in Philly. It's the brotherly love.
It is the city of brotherly love. I will.
That's why we'll stay on the outskirts.
Maybe this is the trip that we all need to take to play golf together in person.
I think it is. I can make arrangements.
You know what? I think, Bobby, you could get AD in. You guys look like brothers. He could be your family pass.
Yeah.
Andy, you don't look like me, so
I could be somebody's kid.
We will call Don Ray. When everybody else were trashing him, we did not trash Don. We said that some of the actions were bad, but we did not trash. So Don, throw us a bone. We all want to be in Philly.
Philly golf is the best.
All right, so we're at that point in time. Actually, let me do this real quick. Christian, you got to throw one of these in. It's your week. Who are you picking?
I got to think really quick.
There's only one name that gets it done down it.
I'm going to go with a Boulder pick this week who's won here before, who after his round last week said that he hit the ball better than when he won here at Augusta. I'm picking Jordan Spieth this week.
Ooh. Not who I thought. I thought you were going to say Matty Fitzpatrick.
Absolutely.
You're bringing value to the table with that pick.
When Jordan said that he hit the ball better this week or last week than when he won at Augusta, really piqued my eyes because I think Jordan's going to have a great year, and I think it's a bounce back year for him personally.
I'll believe that when I see it.
That's a good pick, Christian. I like that. I'm gonna put money on it and lose again.
Hey, he looks good in plaid. He feels comfortable on the island. I'm just saying.
18th green, gentlemen. Time to tap in. Get off the green. 3 hours and 45 minutes. Boston Bob, bring us home.
Let's see. A couple of comments. Now that Roy's won back-to-back, you can't help but think how many can he win, will he win at Augusta National Golf Club, but also can he get to double digits for majors? All of a sudden now it's that within that realm of could he be into that legend territory? Can he get to 9, 10? If he gets to 10, it's like, wow. So that it hit me once he won. And I thought, wait a minute, he's right there. Like he could go into iconic that area. But also it's generally just, we talked about it earlier, the Masters just never, ever, to coin a Boston phrase, never, ever disappoints. I know a lot of people, it truly is beyond a bucket list. And it's a shame. I wish there was a metric or a way that every golfer could really get a chance to get there. It's probably numerically and logistically crazy. But if anybody could ever pull it off, it's Augusta National Golf Club. But every now and then, I think it is a pilgrimage in a golf sense for people to get there. And I hope anybody listening, keep trying. If you haven't been there, keep trying. And someday you'll get there and you'll just treasure it.
Andy, I'm going to go to you next because we had a late comment come into the show from Harrison Ellis, 6171. Live shutting down. You had given the Live report earlier. Can you just give a brief synopsis? I'll give you two final thoughts. One, answer Harrison's question.
Yeah, so there's pretty good evidence that something big has been communicated from the Saudi Public Investment Fund to the Live golf people who are running the Live Golf Tour. So I think nobody really knows what the final fallout's going to be, but definitely looks like there's a potential for this thing to come to a screeching halt.
And
so,
now your actual.
Yeah, my final thoughts here have to do with Father Time. You know, I put a post on social media this week after seeing there's a great new account that I've been following. Is this guy Ian Ellis?
Oh yeah,
posting a bunch of old Masters, videos and stuff, and looking at a lot of the vigils from 1975. Augusta National, the trees were so much smaller, the driving areas were so much wider, the course was so much shorter, and the greens were so much slower. And my post was about, what do you think you could have shot using today's equipment with your golf game today on the 1975 Augusta National versus the 2026 Augusta National? And personally, I think that the difference is probably more than 10 shots, how different that golf course is. And I think that plays into this week's event at Harbortown as well. 50 years, maybe Harbortown's not been around. Maybe Harbortown was 1980, or maybe it was earlier than that, but say roughly 50 years. Harbortown's overgrown. A lot of golf courses on Hilton Head Island have become overgrown. A lot of those live oak trees are gone from being decent sized to being huge. They grow sideways, they grow up. It's just become, really an interesting thing to look at. I think Harbortown is a super claustrophobic golf course now, where I bet if you turn the clock back 40 or 50 years, Harbortown was nothing like it is now. So it's interesting to see those differences that 50 years makes. Some of these golf courses, Harbortown, is about 50 years old, and Augusta is, at another, whatever, maybe 40 years older than that. But it just seems like that's something that really needs to be managed over time to make sure that you're dealing with a golf course that's still playable.
BE.
Two final thoughts. Bobby kind of touched on, what this means with this win by Rory and where he stands in the record books. And you got to think he's got at least a good 10 years. If he avoids injury, where he could really start to pile up some more majors. So that'll be interesting. I think he's already the best European player of all time. But where he ranks in the all-time picture, we'll see what plays out in the next decade. And then Justin Rose, I've always admired Justin Rose, but it wasn't until this year when I saw how he acted at TGL and how great he was with the fans and with the media and with everybody. And then I saw it again this past week in Augusta. He is just the classiest of classiest people on the tour. And I think that's come with age, because if you rewind and remember that chip shot when he was a teenager, pitch shot, sorry, Bobby, the hole out he had on the 18th hole at the Open where he really came into being, and then missed 21 cuts in a row after he turned professional. This guy is a grinder, and I love that about Justin Rose. And the last thing is Augusta. We love you, but don't take the gnome away. We can't take the gnome away.
Save the gnome.
Save the gnome.
Save the gnome.
Save the gnome.
Christian is Amos.
I'm going to touch both of my points are on Liv, shockingly. I think the embarrassment that we saw out of Sergio on Sunday needs to be taken into action. I think if you're going to suspend or reprimand Wyndham Clark for breaking a locker, I think you need to do the exact same thing for Sergio. He clearly needs help with his mental side of his brain, that he's been doing this for a decade, 2 decades. At least he's been doing it as long as I've been watching him, and I'm 29 years old. He is a classless player. I can't stand watching him on the golf course. I think it's bad for the game of golf. It's bad for Liv, and it's bad for his character. You never hear about anybody talk highly of Sergio on a golf course, in my opinion. Never have. Probably never will. Secondly, I think when it comes to Liv as well, I don't feel bad for any of the players that are going through this potential shutdown that's going to happen. I think that when you look at Taylor Gooch is the best player in the world, obviously. But like when you look at the high caliber of players, your Joaquin Niemans, I'm not even going to say Cam Smith, because he has not played well since being on Liv. Period. I know you love him, AD, but he has not played well. You really only have 4 or 5 guys that I would love to see come back on tour. Everybody else is irrelevant, in my opinion. That's my final thought.
I equally have 2 final thoughts. One is actually, Andy touched on it, made me think of it. Back before we transitioned away from the radio show, I had the pleasure of having Chip Beck as one of our guests. And he told me a story of that walking off the 9th green. He was playing with George Burns, maybe? Big George Burns. And as they're walking off, Burnsy says, "See that up there?" Because that's where the tee used to be. And they had to go another 60 yards back on number 9. It's just getting longer and longer and longer. I appreciate Chairman Ridley's comments. They're comments associated with saving the history of our game. And I think that's the events and venues, as a good friend of mine once said. Mm-hmm. And maybe I should just leave it at that, because the other one was just a shameless plug about how you could buy a golf course from me in New England. So that's all I got to say. So until next week, we'll see you later, boys.
Cheers.
Cheers.